Okay, just want to warn you guys, there might be some minor spoilers, so you have been warned. So I watched the new Five Nights at Freddy's movie that released yesterday as of the recording of this video, and I have some thoughts on it. First thing that should be known is that this movie does retcon some of the lore from the games. Spoiler, Mike is not William Afton's son in this movie. Instead, it's Vanessa, who is also in this movie, who is his daughter. She portrays herself as this friendly neighborhood police officer who is later revealed to be very much aware of the kind of man that William Afton is and the kinds of things that he has done. And the movie attempts to give her some sort of redemption arc towards the end, but I can't really bring myself to root for her because she's well aware that her dad is a fucking psychotic serial killer, and yet she has been trying to fucking cover it up. Also, not really a huge fan of Vanessa's dialogue, and it only seems to be Vanessa's dialogue. Every time she's having a conversation with Mike, she's like saying all of these things. I'm just thinking like, oh yeah, this is totally how actual people speak. Every time she was having a conversation with him, it was always her like describing stuff in great detail. I don't know how to explain it. If you watch the movie, you will know what I'm talking about. Another issue I have with this movie is the complete tonal whiplash that it puts its audience through. One moment it will be some sort of spooky imagery or a jump scare. The next moment, a kid's film montage. It's bizarre. I'm not much of a horror movie buff because I'm a complete coward. I don't watch horror movies. After watching this, I feel like even without my knowledge of horror movies, it's safe to say that this is the least horror movie that's ever been released. At times, it feels like it's a parody almost. Like it's a parody of the horror movie genre, like it's Scary Movie or something. But then they realize, oh yeah, this is supposed to be a legitimate horror movie, so they try to put in like a cheap jump scare or some gruesome imagery to remind you you're watching a horror movie. Regarding performances from the actors, I think everybody did fine. Nobody really stood out aside from maybe Matthew Lillard. There were a lot of child actors in this movie, and I thought they all did fine. I'm sure you all know how it is with child acting. It's usually hit or miss. I thought all of the actors in this movie, the child actors, I thought they all did fine. I found the fan service to be pretty entertaining. It wasn't anything too gratuitous or anything. Just a couple cameos from YouTubers who are basically synonymous with the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise. Ending the movie with the living tombstone was pretty fucking funny, I'm not gonna lie. A huge reason why I had a lot of fun with this movie, despite its various flaws, would have to be the crowd that was at the movie theater when me and my friends went and saw it. I understand that this series had a huge impact on a lot of people's childhoods, but I did not understand just how impactful this series was because people were cosplaying and shit. It was insane. A bunch of people in the crowd would gather up and cheer whenever a certain character or a certain element from the series would pop up in the movie. It was really fun to be a part of that crowd, not gonna lie. Would I recommend seeing this movie? I would recommend it if you have a group of friends to see it with. It's way more fun to see it in a group. I feel like if I were to watch this movie all by myself, I would be on the verge of game ending myself. I am not gonna lie about that. This movie has a lot of flaws. It has very questionable dialogue. It has a story that isn't entirely engaging unless you're familiar with the series. But I really do like how they managed to bring Freddy Fazbear and all of his homies into live action. And again, none of the actors did a poor job. They did all right. Also, an engaged crowd makes this movie 10 times better. I can honestly see this movie becoming like some sort of cult hit that has a midnight screening 5 to 10 years from now. If I had to give this movie some sort of arbitrary score that doesn't really matter, I would give it a 5 out of 10. It's fine on its own, very flawed, but it can be made into a hell of an evening if you have the right people around you. Those are my opinions on the Five Nights at Freddy's movie released in 2023. You're free to disagree with my opinion because everyone's entitled to their own. Okay, bye.